Welcome to Cosmic Conscious Vibration, unlocking your inner universe with me, Reverend Dr. Kimmie and Dr. Pat. Are you on a personal journey of spiritual self-discovery? We provide practical ways to connect with your higher self to live a more meaningful life while deepening your connection to source consciousness. Learn the benefits of living a more mindful existence to reclaim your personal power. Join us as we explore insights to a deeper understanding of the nature of consciousness. Learn to listen better to your intuition and your heart's desires, putting you on a path of manifesting the life you are meant to live. The Cosmic Conscious Vibration Show is your catalyst for a consciousness revolution based on universal love and oneness. It all starts now.
Wow. Hey, everybody, I'm Dr. Pat, and you are here with me and Reverend Dr. Kimmie. I just want to say to everybody, before we even get rolling, in case we forget, we're going to be talking about what you can do to really ascend to this multidimensional power. But I will tell you this, many of us have needed help. You may need assistance, and I want you to write this down. REV, Rev, DR for Dr. Kimmie, Kimmie. RevDrKimmie.com. And the reason I want you to do that is because we're coming into holiday season in a 2025. And this is really where we're looking at, right, Reverend Dr. Kimmie, how to awaken your multidimensional power. Like you could be Dr. Strange.
Right. You are Dr. Strange. You ever see that? You saw that part where she knocked his soul out of his body? And he was like, what was that?
What the heck?
You know, you basically, but true. And the holiday season, and when I do my podcast towards the end of the month, we're going to really be getting into that with the holidays and the power of three and giving back. So I'm going to really do something good on that. But on today's show, for that multidimensional power, we're going to be talking about that because it is very important. It's not, you need to recognize you're not just physically in this world. You are an expansive being. You are emotional being. You are a mental being. You have these spiritual levels to you. This awareness, knowing all these levels and states of being, unlock that potential so you can live in alignment with your highest vibration. So when you're tapping into that multidimensional self, you stop seeing life as just random events. You start putting the pieces together of the puzzle. You start actually living in flow, not just hoping you're in flow, but living in flow because you're connected to your higher self, you're connected to source, and you're able to not just know it, but feel it. And you start to strive to instead of surviving, you're striving to live.
Yeah. And I want to talk about this from a coaching perspective, and I want to get right into it. Because one of the things about understanding that we are naturally multidimensional beings. So let's just be very clear. Dr. Strange had to go through his own metamorphosis, but we as human beings, we are born into this world as multidimensional beings. We have supernatural or super preternatural power. We really do. And we just don't know it, or we know it as a teeny little baby. And then somehow we forget or condition that like, oh, I don't think I'm intuitive. But let's talk about it from a coaching perspective, because you tap on all the dimensions to make sure we're fully showing up, right?
Right. And when it comes to the coaching aspect, it's really about recognizing your power and understanding that it's not like you're just saying that you're powerful. You are a creator being. So when you start analyzing and looking at all those different layers, you start to really understand who you are truly inside. You've got this complex, expansive soul that's experiencing life on multiple levels. You know, we had a little bit of a time collapsing of timelines a couple weeks back, and I know I switched timelines because some things were all crazy. And I was just like, you know, other me, I have an addiction to post-it notes. You could have left me a note, you know?
So now you're talking my music. Now you're singing my song. Yeah.
Okay. You're like, wait a minute. I should have known. So when you understand you have these different levels, sometimes things like that happen that are funny, but regardless, you're connected to your higher self, that intuition, that gut feeling, that thing that tells you to go this way or that way. We all have it. We have an internal compass. You don't need physical tools like tarot or pendulums, even though they're great and they're pretty and all that jazz. I love them too. But once you get in tune with yourself, you are the director of your life. You are
Brilliant. We are
go?
brilliant. Where are you? You're right there. You took yourself out of the dimension right there. I love that. What did you do? You did like a little shape shifting on me. But what you're talking about, look, I know we don't need them, but I don't know if you saw what I did about 2 minutes ago. I don't know if anybody saw it because I don't think the camera was on me. But if you were looking
mine
at
was
me,
messed up for a minute. That's
yeah.
why.
But if you looked at me, I accidentally, you could hear this sound. Do you hear it?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
With this.
So this is me. I wear this every day. I never not wear it unless I've lost my mind. But I have 3 things on this necklace. And by touching them, I'm reminded of the multidimensional nature because my job is to show up for you during these shows, 360, fully on fire. And this particular show that you've decided to do is one of the most important right now to get us ready for 2025, because 2025 is the year to come alive. Everybody, you all out there, 2025, that's our theme. This is the year to come alive.
It really is. We're entering full swing, the age of Aquarius. We've got everything tuned in. The universe is sitting there just as usual, helping us manifest our best self and show up as our best self. So what we can do, since the universe is helping us, is to help ourselves. Either I can help you or you can do it on your own. But either way, it's that time to really ring this year in with a lot of big bang. Just a big old bang, right? Because once you understand that you're connecting to your multidimensional self and you're ready to connect further to your multidimensional, it's a mouthful, isn't it? Multidimensional self. Okay. I'm like, my mind is like, but you're ready. You're already connected. It's just a matter of deepening that connection. So there's some signs, of course, synchronicities, things that'll show up in your life. Pay attention to these things. The more you're connected, the more the universe is going to speak to you in synchronicities. Like I told mine, she needs to start writing down stuff with a freaking Post-it.
Well, no, yeah. Right? I mean, come on now. We all do. Look, I have been called the queen of Post-it notes because back in 2000 maybe, I was doing the cross-busting workshops and I was doing them everywhere. And I introduced an exercise with Post-it notes on my KKNW show, which literally reaches millions of people. And the representative from Washington State 3M called me and said, why are you ordering these Post-it notes? And I said, because they're crust busters. And so what does that even mean? Here's what it means. And here's what I want to ask you. When we are called forward, we need tools. So the idea of writing things on a Post-it note, whatever you think you are, I know you're more than that, but one of the things you may not be is really good to keep track of all the goodies and goodness in your world. That's what you're talking about.
Right. And it's basically because there's so many tools available to you that you may not even think, like the Post-it note. That's something that is just really something that you got an idea, you write it down. This is also going to be that season where we're going to be getting more connected to our multidimensional selves. And that's when you start getting in flow and starting being connected, that's when those ideas start popping sometimes. You got to be ready to write them down, talk to your phone, wherever, and get those ideas down, because that could be that gut feeling where you think, I should be doing this, write it down. Or get a journal and do what I call Dear Universe. I write to the universe when I want to manifest something and talk to my higher self and just get it on paper, because there's nothing like getting something on paper. That's that tangible, bringing it forth into this world type of thing, So when you're writing those things down and you're writing to the universe, you need to act like they're already yours because they are yours. So when you start doing that, you're awakening more and more power. You're understanding how the physical world is reflected by your inner world, and all of that stuff starts to come together.
So let me ask you this question, because this is the game changer for me. I
Mhm.
want to understand what the connection is between us being these multidimensional beings and awakening our power. Because you see, we kind of get a little dormant sometimes, right?
Yes.
We get a little, I don't even want to use the word stuck because it's not quite stuckness. It's almost like the verge of complacency. So what do we do here to make
Kind of
this
like
connection?
quicksand, like you're taking stuff with you slow. I know, quicksand.
Ooh,
And we were all scared as children of quicksand. Remember, they scared
I
us with
cannot stand that
everything.
feeling.
Right? It was everything. Quicksand the horse. Quick Atreyu got
Oh my
caught in
God.
quicksand. Well, I don't want to offend any Gen Xers with like the Atreyu thing, but yes, basically, you start to get stuck and stagnant in your energy, and that's where I come in, or just meditating and being still sometimes comes in, because you're able to reconnect with your energy. and and when I say reconnect with your energy, you are nothing but an energy being, right? This is your meat suit that you dress up and you go out and you do experiences, right? So when it comes down to really taking back your power, you need to really just remember that you never were not powerful. That gets beat into us via propaganda, bad things on the news, even somehow, even history and how it's given to us in these bite-sized, digestible, don't question it type of things, right? A lot of things are done like that to us.
Yeah.
So you start looking past that and really using this, and start thinking for yourself, and start realizing that you create by just thinking, by just being. You're starting to tap into yourself that way, then you already are finding your power right there.
Yeah. And I love what you're saying. Let's talk about this because we have to really generate the questions. First of all, we're talking about emotional, spiritual, cosmic, and so forth. And so the really begs us to ask a few questions. For example, of the emotional dimension, healing past traumas, you got to do it. But sometimes you have to start with the question. For example, Reverend Dr. Kimmie, for example, I remember asking my uncle before he died, like 93, Uncle Ralph. I went to visit him. Why? Because I got an email from somebody from Brazil in Portuguese
Oh, wow.
saying, are you my family? I had to get it translated. Are you part of my family? And I readily said no. And I go visit my uncle and I'm like, okay, what's the deal? Oh, okay. Well, that internet now, you can't hide anything. I said, what the heck are you hiding? So you see, what did that question do? That question raised an emotional level in me. So what did it come to? It came to an understanding about why my mom had so many secrets that made she killed herself. What was it? Well, look at girlfriend, when you find out your grandpa was born in Brazil and was a farmer and nobody tells you,
Right.
and you carry that secret. That is an emotional past trauma that my mom never got to heal. So let's talk about how
Past
we heal it.
past trauma, ancestral trauma, all of that is trapped in our body. And if you think about like the vagus nerve and like releasing, or just doing breathing exercises, those are ways to start to break down and release those energies. And when you're right, it does start with questions, because when you're on your spiritual awakening journey, a lot of the first questions are like, what's happening? Who am I? And you start having these like, and those sound like real basic questions, but really they're actually pretty deep. But then you get to the ones with, ancestral trauma, or you may have that narcissistic personality in your life, a family member, someone that you have in your life where you really can't help. They're just there, in a way. So with those things, when you have those deep conversations with them, when you um start to do the inner work and the shadow work and get to the nitty gritty and ask yourself, write those questions down, answer those questions, and don't just write a question and find an answer. That's not what I mean. I mean, you write those questions down when they come to you and you sit there with those questions. And that's how you work through that trauma, because you're asking yourself the questions. And also that works with the grounding exercises and those, heart centering exercises, because that's where your emotional body is connected to your physical body and your mental. You can see that connection. You think of a question, you write it down, you start to, work your way through it. You may feel tension in your body in certain areas that are representative of that question. You may have asked that question in meditation, and then all of a sudden your throat hurts or your shoulders begin to ache. That's where you're carrying that burden. So when you start doing the emotional work and the shadow work to get to those answers that is your truth, then you start to really step into your power more and more, because you're clearing out the density that is in your body and you're replacing it with more light.
Yeah. I love this because, there's not enough time in the show to talk about how I got to that point, but I got to that point because there were some issues that come up, and I want to talk about this. Now let's connect to the spiritual dimension of this. Really important to really pull all these together and how it increases our resilience, you see, because there is something that does happen to us. I like to call it a quickening, right? There's something that happens when the light bulb goes on. Now, it took me a lot of years for that light bulb to go on. Little late bloomer right there. But when it does go on, if you're taking this journey by yourself, it will take you a while. But I want to invite people not to do that. Yeah. See, we're living in a time now where you've got Reverend Dr. Kimmie here today, who is a master at this, who coaches people, helps us through this. And what I want to say is this is not the time now to really trudge it alone. So talk about how all of these can increase our resilience and give us a clearer sense of what to do. That's called intuition.
Mm-hmm. Well, think about a time that you just knew something. And of course, that is your intuition talking to you. So sometimes when you are connecting to the intuition, if you don't feel sure of yourself, that's where problems can arise. So when we're in an age where everyone is waking up in their own way, the talk of the town is, how are we healing as a collective? How are we healing as individuals? Because as we heal as individuals, guess what? We're doing our part to heal the collective. So the more you tap into your intuition, the more you're communicating with others and source consciousness, and you're able to really come into your fullness, if that makes sense. And, come into your full being. And, with me or anyone else, what we do is, coaches, we're trying to lead people on their specific path. We're not trying to make a path for you. We're trying to make sure, because everyone's awakening, everyone's spiritual path, everyone's light shines differently, presents differently, and needs to be respected differently. We all have different ancestral trauma, all have different emotional wounds that we're carrying, and we don't need to carry those wounds. We need to let them go so we can be the being that we are here to be and shine.
Well, look, I want to ask you, how do we get some insight into raising our vibration? What are some of the things we can do to not just raise our vibration, but we're raising it in harmony? You see, harmony is different than balance. So what have you learned to tell us about how to raise that vibration or align that vibration to harmonize it to our multidimensional self?
Well, there's several tools that I use, but just to keep it simple, your vibration, if you can't feel it, it's really a matter of where you feel joy in your body. You can use that as a vibration, because joy has a vibration. It's a high vibration. Laughter, if you laugh a lot, that gives you a high vibration. That raises your vibration. Being around things you love, doing things you love, those are things that naturally raise your vibration, because you're doing what you feel happiest doing. So that is really the best way. And especially around the holidays, that's one of the best ways to raise your vibration. Just be the light in the room. Talk to the person in the corner that no one's talking to. Be that beam of energy that is there. And the more you do that out of your, unconditional love of your heart chakra, the more and more your vibration just naturally raises. You don't really have to work too much at it when you're doing it out of love. Because I mean, we're really, our heart is literally like the center of our emotional body. So with that being said, everything comes from the heart. You are love. I am love. I love you. You love me. We're all, love. So once we truly are tapped into our heart chakra and we go out in the world and we just be ourselves, our authentic selves, and be nice and sweet and kind. But now that don't mean be nice to everybody. I just mean,
Yeah, no,
I'm not saying be a pushover. I'm just saying be the light that you are. However,
exactly.
shine. Right.
So, one last thing about this I want to touch upon, because we have to really look at the paradigm we're living in. Let me just rephrase that. We look at the paradigm we've created for ourselves.
That's a good
And
one.
sometimes that paradigm does not have our multidimensional self. It's a slice of pie. It's very limited. But in order for us to make a move, we have to look at limiting paradigms and make a change. What can we do, especially coming up to this holiday? Because we got some limiting. I mean, I'm talking to people that have canceled the holidays because of how somebody voted in the election. And I'm like, come on now, we need a different paradigm here.
And that's another thing. If you look at the youth and how they're reacting to a lot of stuff, you can see the new mind is just budding in them, right? But a lot of us, especially me and older people, we're stuck in these paradigms, and it takes us a little longer to get unstuck sometimes. And these belief systems, these thought patterns, they hold you back. They don't allow for growth. And when you're not allowing for growth and for connection with whoever, and able to say that, it really is, especially with the season, to say it this way, is when you look at someone else and you don't like something with them and they start to rub you the wrong way, 9 times out of 10, it's something within your system that's rubbing you the wrong way, and you're projecting it onto that person. So with that being said, in the holiday, it's really just a matter of staying your truth, however that looks, but be the light. Don't feed into all of the negativity. And negativity is the biggest killer of the vibe. We all know that, man, I don't like your vibe. That's where that comes from. What's wrong with your vibe? We want to be the actual beacon of love, not the negative Nancy walking around.
No, I totally agree with you. As a matter of fact, I was coaching somebody the other day who, long story, but I'll give you the short version, gets around the holidays, doesn't want to do the holidays, blah, 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 blah. And every time they start to bring something up, their relatives put up an L for loser. Like, this is crazy. So they said to me, where do I go with that? I said, what you do is you create the little heart symbol back to them.
I would have done that too. Exactly.
The little, right? I said,
there's different ways.
Because that is your shield of protection. And they looked at me and said, what do you mean? I said, love. Love trumps everything. Love is that thing that gets us to a place of peace. And you have to be able to do that at the multidimensional level. It's not easy. I am not saying it's easy.
No. And I mean, we all have our moments, because just because I try to live love and light don't mean love and light doesn't come with possibly wanting to uppercut somebody every once in a while. Just like, this is, we're human. No matter what, we're human. But true. And we start to create these patterns of self-sabotage when we do stuff like that too, because you're going to be repeating these patterns with the same thing. So with people that you may see over the holidays, if you want to continue a pattern of not talking, that's one way of doing it, but you're self-sabotaging anything, because the negative thoughts are not going to stop because you stop talking to someone. You're punishing yourself more than them.
So let's just get to a punchline for, our closing message. So when you put all these together, one of the most powerful part of our multidimensional nature is our spiritual side.
Mm-hmm.
In our spiritual paradigm, and I think this is true across the board, fact check me on this, but almost every spiritual practice, philosophy, or religion has something they call source or source energy. That
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they're going to call it, but that's
Mm-hmm.
what they have.
Right.
If we could look at a situation and simply analyze it, take what we need, do whatever action we need, but remember that is not our source, what would our lives be like?
Ooh. If we didn't have that source, that's a good question because I know when you're on a spiritual path, sometimes you get here in a weird way. And so sometimes you may have even been through that, like, I don't believe in anything but what's in front of me. And once your eyes get opened to the multitude of dimensions, how that feels, that connection feels, you start to see things complete. It's almost like, in a Wizard of Oz movie where you have the black and white video and then all of a sudden it goes straight to color. It's like that. It
Yeah.
really is like that. That's the best explanation, I think, because you're watching your own life in this dull, dreary, black and white, what's going on, uh, and then out of nowhere, you start to realize the beauty of everything, the magic of everything, how everything is animated because everything is everything, right? And everything is in color and she's singing and everything. So that is a good, I think, analogy for that because we want to be in that happy rainbow spot and we can once we get connected to ourselves.
Thank you so much for today. Please, I want people to reach out to you, even if it's for a quick call,
Oh,
just to
sure.
get set up for this multidimensional power that they have for the holidays. How
Yes.
can people reach out to you and get to you there, Reverend Dr. Kimmie?
Well, I have a podcast coming up this month, and I'm going to do that on the number 3 and giving and all sorts of witchy things with numerology and the number 3. It's going to be great. I wanted something festive. Now, if you just want to reach out to me about that show or this show, or just need to talk to somebody, that's RevDrKimmie.com, just RevDrKimmie.com. And you can find me there. You can schedule an appointment. You can find me on TikTok or also on LinkedIn. I'm there a lot too.
So thank you for today. I want to make 2 comments, and I know you're going to agree with me. The number 3 is so prominent, so much so that Linda's mom and Linda, whenever they put like things out, decorations, they got to be in 3s. Everything got to be in 3. If I have my end table that only has 2 little things on it, that is not going to work. See, these are the paradigms. Now, for whatever reason, they didn't know about the power of the number 3, but they knew intuitively, right?
Oh, we all know intuitively.
Right.
So many
Right.
layers to that. And I started doing some research on it because I was, and I was like, let me do a little. I was like, okay, there's some intersections, and my little spiritual brain cooked on, and I was like, oh wow, so this is going to be powerful because it's everywhere. 3
It is
everywhere, and you don't know it. Now you're going to be like, oh,
okay. And we can get that on your show. All right.
Yeah.
Look, thank you for bringing up What's Going On. You could either listen to What's Going On by Marvin Gaye, or one of my favorite songs that's not called What's Going On, but says it. It's What's Up by 4 Non-Blondes. Linda Perry wrote this song and featured in Sense8. But this is a song, read the lyrics, read the lyrics. Trying to get up that great big hill of hope is one of my favorite lines. And you don't do it without a Reverend Dr. Kimmie. Boom.
Send you the heart this time.
All right, everybody.
All right.
If you don't know what's going on, give her a call. Yes. Because you got to start the pathway, but you got to see the path. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to Cosmic Conscious Vibration, Unlocking Your Inner Universe. I'm Dr. Kimmie, and along with Dr. Pat, we have been discussing the nature of consciousness for ways to deepen your connection to Source. Join us on the second Tuesday of each month at 11 a.m. Pacific Time on Transformation Talk Radio, as we provide the information to assist you on your personal spiritual journey. You play an important role in the interconnectedness of all things. For more information on the benefits of living a more mindful existence, please visit www.revdrkimmie.com. That's ReverendDrKimmie.com.